Stan Gibilisco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV Whiskey 1 Golf Victor. I would like to demonstrate for you rather vividly how the bandwidth of an IF filter, intermediate frequency filter, can affect the signal-to-noise ratio when you're receiving a narrowband signal like this particular one, which is the code practice coming from W1AW in Newington, Connecticut. Right now they're going 35 words a minute, which I can still just barely read in my head. No way can I write that down. Way back in the... I'm going to get cut right to the chase. Notice the filter. 500 hertz wide. That is what this filter is. And notice the strength of W1AW, just about S9. Now we have a real noise problem here, human-made noise, about between S7 and S9 kicking around. So I'm going to tune back W1AW now. My indication is that it's right in the center of the passband. I have a couple of programs on my computer that you can't see that are showing that. But notice, S9 signal, but the noise is almost as strong as the signal. Now I'm cutting down to a 250 hertz wide IF filter. Notice that W1AW is still just as strong as it was before because I've got it tuned right into the center of this 250 hertz wide passband. But the noise has dropped to only between about S6 and occasionally kicking up to S8, but it has dropped. Sorry about that little wiggle there. Setting an iPad on my desk and trying to make a video like this is a little bit tricky. Now I'm going to go down to a 100 hertz wide filter. Notice that W1AW is still just as strong as they were between S9 and about 10 decibels over S9. However, the noise has dropped, well, not much more. We're having a little bit more. Let's look at the filters and compare. Tune away from them. S9 noise on the 500 hertz filter. About S7, maybe averaging S7 on the 250 hertz filter. And down to around S5, maybe sometime, averaging maybe about S5, S4.5. But the signal, let's get them right in the center of my passband. Anywhere between S9 and 10 over. Now watch as I rotate, cycle between the filters, the three different filter bandwidths. 500 hertz, 250, 100. Note that W1AW, the signal we want to hear, maintains its strength, but the noise gets weaker as the bandwidth gets narrower. Therefore, the signal-to-noise ratio improves as the bandwidth gets narrower. And the reason for that is pretty obvious when you think about it. The amount of noise, which is random impulses, depends on the bandwidth because it's all over the whole spectrum. The smaller a piece of band that we look at, the less noise is going to be in there. So technically, 100 hertz wide would only have 1/5 as much noise as the 500 hertz wide. The 250 hertz wide would have half as much noise as the 500 hertz wide. But the signal falling right in the center and occupying only that one single frequency plus a few hertz either way because of the inherent bandwidth of CW. Look at that. 20 dB over S9 with the signal on the 100 hertz filter. Not any stronger on the 500 hertz. So we're getting a better signal-to-noise ratio. Now, I remember talking to an engineer once when I worked at this station, W1AW, back in 1977-78. And I was telling him about this effect and how the signal-to-noise ratio can be improved with a narrowband signal like this if you narrow down the IF bandwidth. And he disagreed with me. He said, no, that's not true. That's not true. And I said, well, I believe that it is. And he you know what his reply to that was? And this is something that has pissed me off ever since my college days, when I first encountered professors who looked at my creative mathematics work, my pure mathematics theories that I was trying to develop, and poo-pooed my work as low quality. They actually discouraged me from doing any further work. This is a university. They're supposed to encourage that kind of thing. They were discouraging me. One guy said, you are treading on ground trodden by great minds. And as if there was no way my mind could be anything but mediocre. As for whether you think it's mediocre or not, don't tell me, I don't want to know. But this engineer at W1AW, you know what he said? He said, I'm right and you're wrong because I am an engineer. I am a degreed electrical engineer and you aren't. Therefore, I am right and you are wrong. I refrain with great difficulty from drawing historical parallels as to what can happen when that attitude prevails. Anyway, I stand by my theory and I think I have proof. Even though all of my electronics training is self-taught. I never took a formal electronics course in my life. With that confession, Stan Gibilisco signing off, saying 73 from the Black Hills of Dakota Territory, United States of America. So long.